how modern clothing choices are silently impacting your sperm count and vitality. It might sound surprising, but what you wear every single day could be affecting your reproductive health more than you realize. Most people focus on diet, exercise, and supplements when it comes to improving their health. But very few stop to think about how their everyday clothing choices, especially tight or restrictive clothing, can influence something as important as fertility and overall vitality. Today, we're going to break down the science behind this, what actually matters, what doesn't, and how small changes in your daily habits could make a real difference over time. Let's start with the basics. Your body is designed to regulate temperature very precisely, especially when it comes to reproductive organs. There's a reason why certain parts of the body are positioned externally rather than internally. That design is not random. It exists to maintain a slightly cooler environment compared to core body temperature. Why does that matter? Because sperm production is highly sensitive to temperature. Even small increases in temperature, just a couple of degrees, can impact sperm production, quality, and motility. Motility refers to how well sperm can move, which is essential for fertility. Now, think about modern clothing trends. Tight jeans, compression wear, synthetic fabrics, and underwear that holds everything very close to the body. While these might be comfortable or fashionable, they can also trap heat and reduce airflow. When heat gets trapped consistently over long periods of time, it creates a warmer environment than what your body naturally prefers for optimal function. And over time, that can have an effect. Now, it's important to be clear. Wearing tight clothing occasionally is not going to cause major issues. The concern comes from long-term, repeated exposure. If you're wearing tight, non-breathable clothing for many hours every single day, especially in warm environments, that's when it starts to matter. Let's go a little deeper into the science. Sperm production is a continuous process. The body is constantly producing new sperm, and this process takes time, usually around 2 to 3 months for a full cycle. That means your daily habits today can affect your reproductive health several weeks or even months down the line. So if something is consistently disrupting that process, the effects may not be immediate, but they can build over time. Now, let's talk about specific clothing factors. The first is tightness. Clothing that compresses the body reduces airflow and increases heat retention. This includes tight underwear, skinny jeans, and certain athletic wear. The second is fabric. Synthetic materials like polyester and nylon tend to trap heat and moisture. They don't allow the skin to breathe as effectively as natural fabrics like cotton. When moisture and heat are trapped together, it creates an environment that is not ideal for temperature regulation. The third factor is duration. How long are you wearing these clothes? If it's just for a short period, like during a workout, it's generally not a big concern. But if you're wearing tight, non-breathable clothing all day, every day, that's where the cumulative effect comes in. Now, there's another modern habit we need to talk about. Sitting for long periods. When you sit for extended hours, especially in tight clothing, you're not only reducing airflow but also increasing localized heat. Combine that with laptops placed directly on the lap or heated environments, and the temperature can rise even further. This combination can create a sustained increase in temperature over time. Again, not something that causes immediate problems, but something that can have a subtle, long-term impact. Now, let's shift to vitality. When we talk about vitality, we're not just talking about fertility. We're talking about energy levels, hormonal balance, and overall physical well-being. Temperature regulation plays a role here as well. When the body is constantly dealing with excess heat in certain areas, it can affect comfort, circulation, and even how you feel throughout the day. Clothing that is too tight or restrictive can also impact blood flow. Proper circulation is essential for delivering oxygen and nutrients throughout the body. When circulation is restricted, even slightly, it can affect how tissues function over time. Now, let's talk about what you can actually do. Because the goal here is not to completely change your lifestyle or give up clothing you like. It's about making smarter, balanced choices. First, consider your underwear. Opt for breathable fabrics like cotton. These allow for better airflow and help maintain a more natural temperature. Second, think about fit. You don't need to wear extremely loose clothing, but avoiding overly tight or restrictive options for long periods can make a difference. Third, rotate your clothing. If you wear tighter clothing during the day, consider switching to something more relaxed when you're at home or sleeping. This gives your body time to return to its natural state. Fourth, pay attention to your environment. If you're in a hot climate or sitting for long hours, be mindful of how heat builds up. Small adjustments, like taking breaks, standing up, or changing positions, can help. Fifth, be aware of other heat sources. Things like hot baths, saunas, or placing devices directly on your lap can also contribute to increased temperature. Moderation is key. Now, let's address an important point. Not all changes in reproductive health are caused by clothing. There are many factors involved: diet, exercise, stress, sleep, overall health, and underlying medical conditions. Clothing is just one piece of the puzzle. But it's a piece that's often overlooked. And when combined with other factors, it can contribute to the bigger picture. Now, you might be wondering, how significant is this really? The answer is that it varies from person to person. Some people may be more sensitive to temperature changes than others. Some may notice no difference at all. But when it comes to health, especially long-term health, small consistent habits often matter more than occasional big changes. It's about patterns. What you do every day. What you expose your body to regularly. Those patterns shape outcomes over time. Now let's talk about balance. The goal is not to create anxiety or overthink every choice you make. It's to create awareness. Once you're aware, you can make better decisions without overcomplicating things. Wear what you like, but be mindful of how often and for how long. Give your body the conditions it needs to function optimally. And remember that comfort and health can go hand in hand. Now let's bring everything together. Modern clothing choices can influence temperature, airflow, and comfort. Temperature plays a role in reproductive health. Long-term exposure to heat and restriction may have subtle effects over time. And small adjustments, like choosing breathable fabrics and better fit, can help support overall well-being. At the end of the day, your body is designed to function in a certain way. When you support that natural design, you give yourself the best chance at maintaining health and vitality. So the next time you're choosing what to wear, take a moment to think about not just how it looks, but how it feels, how it fits, and how it affects your body over time. Because sometimes, the smallest daily choices can have the biggest long-term impact.